Anyone remember that classic Simpsons game where you would roam around the town of Springfield completing missions and doing favors for fellow citizens, all while hearing them give their trademark one-liners? Yeah, well, this is the other one.
Hey!
Can you take me to my shack? I need some willy time.
Alright then.
Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that the ship of stellar quality Simpsons episodes has sailed, crashed into an iceberg, sunk to the bottom of the ocean, and then exploded. But even with that being the case, The Simpsons is still pretty much my favorite TV show of all time. And if you've been paying attention, you might have even noticed a reference or two snuck into my previous videos. Now, when I say I was a fan of The Simpsons, that means I didn't just watch the show. I bought the merch, listened to the soundtrack, read the comics, read the junk mail section of the comics, watched the movie, got the stretchy Homer, and of course, I played the video games. And The Simpsons have had a lot of video games, many from before my time, but once those games started being released for the PS2, you best believe I was on that. Now there's a clear winner when it comes to which Simpsons game people seem to have the fondest memories of, but that's a video for another day. Instead, this particular video will focus on the first officially licensed Simpsons game to hit the PlayStation 2. The Simpsons Road Rage.
Dad.
Quit playing those stupid video games, boy. I want to watch TV.
The premise of the game is that Mr. Burns has bought all the public transport systems in Springfield and replaced them with his own line of buses, which proved to be a less than ideal alternative.
Behold the Burns Atomic Megabus. Faster, cheaper, and completely safe.
Please kill me.
That poor man. I hope someone does kill him.
As a result, some citizens of Springfield take it upon themselves to provide public transport by becoming taxi drivers. In the main game mode Road Rage, you select your character and race around town, picking up passengers and driving them to their destinations. The goal is to deliver as many passengers and earn as much money as you can before the timer runs out, and with each passenger you deliver quickly, you get a few extra seconds added onto your remaining time. It's kinda like that game Crazy Taxi. Actually, no, it's really like Crazy Taxi. In fact, it's so similar that Sega ended up suing EA and Radical Entertainment for patent infringement. But that didn't really stop them from making future Simpsons titles inspired by already established series, did it? I started up my first round playing as Homer and was reminded of the painfully long loading times this game had on the PlayStation 2. Actually, I'm pretty sure a third of my total playtime in Road Rage was spent watching Bart having a better time than I was. And unfortunately, the fun didn't increase much more once the game had started. I think when I first played this, I was too young to understand that just because the game had The Simpsons attached to it, didn't automatically make it good. And now that I'm playing this again many years later, I can see that the gameplay is actually quite repetitive and gets old quickly. I mean, it's pretty much just a cycle of pick up a passenger, drop them off, get paid, pick up a passenger, drop them off, get paid, pick up a passenger, drop them off, get paid. Listen, I understand that I am literally describing the job of a real-life taxi driver right now, but this is supposed to be a video game, not employment simulator. The game tries to spice things up by giving you challenges, such as not crashing into other vehicles on your journey or destroying a certain number of objects before your journey is complete. There are also the atomic megabuses you have to avoid, as well as Mr. Burns, who will try to crash into you to slow you down. And while this makes the gameplay a bit more interesting, in the end, this game didn't feel like one I could play for more than a few minutes at a time before getting bored. Which makes sense considering that Crazy Taxi was originally created for arcade machines where you'd pay a coin to play a single round and try and beat the high score. So chances are, unless you were really good at the game, you wouldn't be playing it for more than a few minutes at a time anyway. Ultimately, the Road Rage game mode feels like it would have been better as a mini game in that other Simpsons game. You know, the better one. This, however, is not the only game mode available. There's also Sunday Drive, which is the same as Road Rage except with no earnings or time limit, and Head to Head, which is a two-player split-screen version of Road Rage that my emulator was not happy with at all. And finally, there's the Mission mode, where you help your favorite characters achieve their goals. And for some reason, their goals almost always consist of driving into a set number of a specific item with their vehicle, whether that's streetlights as Otto or nuclear waste barrels as Snake. For one mission, they even have you straight up commit vehicular homicide, but they're dressed up as mascots, which technically makes them like furries, so it's okay. There are only two missions which break this formula, and that's one where Bart has to drive Homer back to work before he's caught by Mr. Burns, and another where Professor Frink has to drive the mayor to City Hall before he's caught by Mr. Burns. Isn't he supposed to be a billionaire? Why does he have time for this? And I should mention that there are only 10 missions available, with the longest one having a time limit of 50 seconds. So you're not even looking at 10 minutes of gameplay here. You legitimately spend more time in the loading screen than most of the actual missions. And you know what? Maybe they're doing us a favor, because the longer you spend in this game, the worse it looks. Trying to bring 2D characters into a 3D space can be a challenge, and I'm not expecting mind-blowing graphics from a PS2 game that came out in 2001. But I mean, this game came out in 2001. That looks pretty good. What the hell is this? It looks like someone got the smallest resolution image of a Simpsons character they could find, scaled it up like 1000%, and then proceeded to perform the worst cropping job I have ever seen. This is a disgrace. However, one saving grace this game does have is its soundtrack. While there's nothing particularly special about it, it does have some catchy tunes and did add to the fast-paced nature of the gameplay. The voices are also well done, with some of the characters actually reacting differently depending on who they're picking up.
Flanders? Oh boy, why did I stop?
Hi, diddly ho, neighbor.
Hi, Marc.
Hi, homie. I brought you some pork chops for later.
Okay, I didn't ask for your life story.
I mean, she was just saying she made you pork chops, man, damn. The story doesn't go any deeper in this game, and the only other cutscenes are snippets with Mr. Burns that you unlock each time you reach a new total earnings milestone. You win the game once you reach $1 million, and then you're shown the ending cutscene, followed by a credit sequence that I am convinced was made in Windows Movie Maker. Overall, The Simpsons Road Rage leaves a lot to be desired. When I first played this game, I didn't even notice any of the flaws. All I knew was that it was The Simpsons, and therefore, I liked it. But taking a second look at it now that I'm older and less dumb, this game clearly still had a long way to go. I mean, they didn't even get Homer's hair right. Why does he have 3 lines on his head? I will inform you, he has only 2 strands of hair on top. And unfortunately, before things were going to get better for Simpsons licensed games, things were about to get a whole lot worse. Uh-oh.